Amber Heard, T.J. Maxx Pity Play. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Doubtless, there are a number of you listening that are thinking, T.J. Maxx, H.G.? No, it's T.K. Maxx. Actually, it's T.J. Maxx in the United States and T.K. Maxx in Britain and Europe. Reason? Well, quite simply, TJ Maxx was founded as TJ Maxx and opened in 1977 with locations in Massachusetts, in Auburn and Worcester. And then it expanded throughout the United States and Canada. Then in 1994, TJ Maxx reached the United Kingdom and Ireland, but opened as TK Maxx because there was already a discount store operating in the UK at the time called TJ Hughes, and therefore to avoid confusion, the name was altered. Thus, it's TJ and TK Maxx, both part of the same company. So, with that explained, so that I don't have to roll my eyes at repeated queries in the comments about, but it's TK Maxx, HG, let's get down to what Amber has been up to. Well, according to Mail Online, Amber Heard is spotted shopping at discount chain TJ Maxx with her sister after being ordered to pay her ex, Johnny Depp, $8.3 million in damages. Embattled Aquaman star Amber Heard was spotted bargain shopping at a TJ Maxx in New York after Johnny Depp won his defamation trial against her. The 36-year-old actress and her sister, Whitney Henriquez, indulged in an evening of bargain shopping at the Bridgehampton retail store, TMZ just happened to report. Isn't that remarkable that they just happened to go wandering into the Bridgehampton retail store and there was a pap from TMZ or associated with TMZ to catch this activity as it unfolded. Yes, they were able to see her wearing an oversized white shirt and jeans, strolling along past the bargain racks, then perusing items at a rail, looking on perhaps disconsolately, demonstrating that as she wore her hair up in a bun, wearing that white shirt and a pair of baggy jeans, they were a sharp contrast from her usual very elaborated court outfits and hairstyles. Was any dog stepping on a bee? Not on this occasion, it would transpire, that instead, poor Amber Heard. Not only has she not been believed, not only does she have to pay mega millions to Johnny Depp, she's now having to shop in TJ Maxx, and lucky for her, some paparazzi were on hand to catch this very sad event. According to the outlet, the sisters were seen perusing. They weren't looking at, they were perusing, because when you peruse, you do it differently. You see, if you just look at something, you just look at it with your eyes. But when you peruse, you perhaps shift your shoulders and move your mouth in a different way when you're perusing. It's the same way that lawyers, they don't look at your documents, they peruse your documents. It sounds grander, and that they're doing something more important than just reading. Anyway, leaving aside the issue of perusal, according to the outlet, the sisters were seen perusing racks for clothes and discussing white linen pants. Heard was seen wearing her hair up in a bun. At one point, Enriquez pulled her shopping cart to the side so an older woman could see in the mirror if her potential purchase favoured her. Fascinating. Enriquez stood by Heard's side throughout the court proceedings, testifying against Depp and sharing a heartfelt message reiterating her support for Heard after the verdict. It comes as the Hollywood star has publicly admitted she can't afford the $8.3 million in damages awarded to Depp on June 1st. It's unclear whether Depp will enforce the ruling and ask Heard to pay the high sum of money in its totality. His lawyers have hinted that might not be the case, saying his motivation behind the lawsuit, which was to restore his reputation after Heard raised claims of domestic abuse in a 2016 Washington op-ed, has already been achieved. Speaking to NBC's Dateline last week, Heard chose to focus on the positives. Are there any? After the trial left her reputation severely bruised, well, you can just apply some makeup to it, I guess, and her opportunities for work continue to decrease. The actress said that a silver lining of not being busy with work at the moment is that she can enjoy being a full-time mum to 1-year-old daughter Una. I'm not so sure Una would necessarily agree with that. In a chat screened in its entirety for the first time last Friday, I heard Dateline's host Savannah Guthrie that she was terrified of telling her side of the story. Heard said she'd been wounded by the hate and vitriol directed at her, but did not regret bringing the case. I know the scariest, most intimidating thing for anybody talking about sexual violence is not being believed, being called a liar, or being humiliated, she said. Heard said she was not speaking out because she was vindictive. This would be a really lousy way of getting vengeance, she said. As silly as it is to say this out loud, my goal is I just want people to see me as a human being. Well, unfortunately for you, Amber, most people have seen you for what you are as a consequence of my excellent channel identifying you as a narcissist. Many others, they might not have happened upon the explanation to what you truly are, but they've identified you as a liar and a fantasist. Nevertheless, what's the purpose of her turning up at TJ Maxx, dressed down as she is, but just happens again to have been caught on camera? Well, first of all, it's staged. As part of her need to manage the facade, to assert control and draw fuel, her narcissism was directed her in the moment to organise that the shopping trip is picked up and publicised. And doubtless she'll receive some kind of fee, and that's a residual benefit. And after all, being down to the tune of 8.3 million, she needs every shekel that she can lay her hand upon. But it's also, of course, this appearance about the assertion of control and the drawing of fuel, although as an unaware narcissist, she doesn't realise this. It's quite simply a pity play. Look at me, I once wandered around in outfits worth tens of thousands of dollars, turning up at glamorous ceremonies and occasions and events, and now I'm poor, downtrodden, victim of domestic abuse, Amber Heard, shopping in a shop just like you. You see, I am only human. Cut me and I bleed. Punch me and I bruise. Or I'll just make up either of those events myself. It is just a pity play. She doesn't see it as such. She does not think to herself, I'm going to make people feel sorry for me, so what I'm going to do is go and shop at the discount retailer. No, her narcissism just guides her to go there, having previously, of course, ensured that it's going to be publicised. After all, isn't it strange that TMZ were able to report it and to do so promptly? Nobody's fooled. We all know that it's been set up. But many people won't necessarily realise that the purpose for which this is being done is in order to assert control by eliciting sympathy and pity for her, by drawing fuel, by virtue of people saying, oh, isn't it a shame? Poor Amber, look at her. She's on the bones of her arse. Dear, oh dear. What a real shame it is for her. And it manages the facade of being a victim and that she's the hard-done-to decent person. Her narcissism doesn't rein its horns in. It can't. It has to keep her behaving in this manner in order to ensure that she secures the prime aims. The problem that she has is that many people, of course, start to see through all of this behaviour. She's not popular to begin with, and of course, many people will just see it for what it actually is. And, for instance, if we just take a quick trip to the comments section in relation to this article, Sophia I. Look staged, nothing surprises me anymore with this woman. And then Miss Millie Moe writes, she alerted TMZ again to gain sympathy, to humanise her. She's such a fake. I think she means humanise. Sarah, from Durham in the United Kingdom, writes, enough of this dreadful woman. Let her disappear into obscurity where she belongs after what she did. Obviously let us know when she's sleeping on a park bench, though. And, of course, she won't disappear into obscurity. Her narcissism won't let her. She'll keep popping up in some shape or form. Sunshiny, her PR team trying to send a message that she is just like us, donating all her money and shopping in a discount shop. Right. Khan Wennon, not staged at all, although I think that's sarcasm. Rialin looks like a sympathy stroll by her PR team. Not vaccinated, totally staged. She's trying to make it look like she's suffering, but to me I'm more upset I shopped there. So she's basically saying the rest of us are poor trash, even though we aren't, but she's saying shopping there is. I wish she'd fly herself into a mountain on autopilot. Anna, I wonder who tipped off the paparazzi she was going to be there, since I doubt they routinely check all TJ Maxx stores. The more I see of this woman, the more I want her to just disappear. She single-handedly did more harm to the cause of true abuse victims of either gender than anyone in recent memory. Norfolk and Chance. If you have no money, you just can't shop, even if it's TK Maxx. Tim Eat Too Much. Next up, OnlyFans. And the comments are in a similar vein, amongst those that are the best rated, identifying that this is indeed staged, that it's done for sympathy, and, of course, that she also is cocking a snook towards the ordinary Joes and Janes of this world by saying, ordinarily I'd never been seen dead in a place like this because it's shit, and you all shop in shitty places. Again, this is evidence of a particular narcissist, and we've seen it similarly with Harry's wife and Jada Pinkett Smith and Alec Baldwin, whereby their narcissism is brilliant at getting that control and fuel, but then creates the collateral consequences of people not believing them, of it just being grist to the mill of the behaviours. And of course, the narcissism doesn't care about that because their particular style of narcissism isn't thinking about what comes next. It's focused on moment by moment by moment. We haven't seen the last of Amber Heard by any stretch of the imagination. She will keep popping up, and there'll be more revelations. And undoubtedly, I'll be reviewing her interview with Savannah Guthrie to break down what was also going on there. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.